was just driving to the shop and I was just thinking of the stuff that's happening. On the one side, we have all this church politics. Church politics, that's all I can call it. And, you know, it kind of engages us and enrages us. And at the other side, you get messages from men saying, oh, look, I'm suffering. My brother's took his life, or my nephew or my son. I've problems with addictions. I've problems in my families. You know, you get all of these messages looking for men, looking for help. Because I put it in my videos. I said, you know, there is hope. You know, I say it, there is hope. There's always hope. There's always joy in our faith. And I really do think as a church, as a Catholic church, we are failing the next generation in giving them an experience of Christian joy. It's truly sad. It's truly tragic. The narrative being caught up in the church at this moment in time. I can understand Pope Francis. Well, I speak Spanish. I listen to what he says. I can understand his pastoral approach in wanting to help those at the margins. I can understand it. I have been there. I've seen it. I know people that are suffering. And you always want to do what's best for them, to be there, to help them, to support them. And at the other side, you're challenged by what the faith is calling us to, which is a change. A metanoia, a change of way we see things, a change of way we approach things. And this dynamic, you know, it's a challenge for 2,000 years, and it's up to us to give this beautiful message of the gospel to this world. And all I can say to church leaders, you're doing one of two things. You're not doing it, and those that are trying to do it are just I don't know what's going on. I just cannot understand how we can't give this gospel, this hope, this joy of the gospel to this generation. The joy of the gospel. I was reading in The Guardian this morning. It's an English newspaper. There is an epidemic of loneliness in this world. They had that headline. You can go onto The Guardian today. You can read up, and it said the epidemic of loneliness. And I said, I don't need a newspaper to tell me there's an epidemic of loneliness. What happens when you're lonely? What happens to people that don't have meaning in their lives? They drink. They take drugs. They act it out. They look for something to fill that emptiness that is in their life. That's what happens. Why do we have hundreds of people take their life every year in Ireland? Why do we have an epidemic of drug addiction? Why do we have all of these things that are destroying our society? Parents that never see their kids. They drop them to the creche at 7 a.m. They might pick them up at 7 p.m. You know, whole day. Kids that have practically no relationship with their parents because they never see them. As soon as they get home, they're off to bed. And then they get up again. 2 parents working. Oh yeah, we have to put a roof over these children's head. What kids need today is actually the love of a parent there with them, a mother or a father, physically there with them the whole day if possible, especially younger kids, the better. And yet we have farmed off our childcare to third parties so that we can keep you can't support a family today unless 2 people are working, it seems. And then we're wondering, we have an epidemic of loneliness in The Guardian. We have an epidemic of loneliness. I wonder why people are so lonely. Why bother having kids you're not going to see? And then when you do see them, you have them farmed out to so many activities. Swimming, dancing, this and that, and football, and it's every single sport. And it's just this road on what people want is connection with other people. There is a joy in the gospel, and the church needs to focus on this. In the midst of all this craziness that's going on, we need to get back to the basics. You know, so I keep saying to the church, come together. And to those saying, what are we doing? What are we doing? When some people stand up to do anything in the church, no. Yeah, no, I don't like the way you're doing that thing. No, that's fine, you know. We end up doing nothing. We end up doing absolutely nothing. we end up reaching to nobody. Pope Francis has said, and he's quoting early church fathers, that the church is a field hospital. And he's so right. It's a field hospital. But at the moment, the doctors are on strike, the nurses are on strike, and management is arguing with themselves over what to do. And people are dying on stretchers in the field hospital. They're dying because we haven't given them hope. That's the medicine that we have in our field hospital. Hope, joy, truth. We have hope. Encounter Christ. That gives great hope. That really does. It fills your mind. You wake up in the morning and you just think, what an amazing thing to be Catholic and to believe in this. To know it's true. It gives great hope. And at the moment in our field hospital, management are arguing between themselves. And maybe doctors are just asleep. And we don't know how to give hope. As a lay person, and I said it many times, I never in my life had any intentions of getting involved with the church or blogging. Nobody came and asked me to set up a blog or told me to do this. I had zero intentions of getting involved in the Catholic Church. Zero of organising or doing anything. But there comes a time when you just have to say, well, who's standing up for this? Who's gonna give hope to the next generation? The hope of the faith. The hope that you get, the joy. Because hope is it's solid, it's concrete, it's real. It's not the hope that I hope someday I win the lotto. No, that's not the hope we have as Catholics. Our hope is solid, it's real, it's deep. And I'm asking leadership now, the church, Rome, to understand you need to get your house in order. If we went into hospital and said, well, look, the guidelines are this, but the guidelines, the guidelines, you can move them this way, and if it doesn't cause scandal, you can do this and you can do that. The church needs to get their guidelines back in order. They need to put a little bit more discipline back in order. Because otherwise, you're wasting so much energy you're distracted by so much energy, wasted energy on discussions, that you're losing the fact that we have stopped giving hope to this world. We really have. And that's the message. And I do think in Ireland, my sense in Ireland as an Irish blogger, Irish bishops do have a heart. Irish bishops, people criticize them, but the reality is Irish leadership, they do have a heart. They do have leadership. People think, no, they do. But it's up to us laity, lay Catholics now to step up and to step in and to be evangelizers and to give hope to our country, our communities, those that are suffering, those that can't get to Mass because they don't have a car, those that are lonely. Ring them up. Do you need a meal? Do you need something? Especially men around Ireland. I'm asking men to pray with other men, to help other men. Families that are suffering because they've lost somebody. It's up to laity to step up. Come to Derry next week, Friday and Saturday. It's just adoration at the end of the day. And maybe men will see, look, there is hope for me. If those men can do it. Because I do encourage people to talk to the Cursillo movement. And the Cursillo movement in Derry will give you one good leadership. They'll give one good they'll give you direction, in the sense that they're boots on the ground, muscular Catholicism, faith in action, rough around the edges, but real men that love the faith and that'll show you the hope that they have. They do have. They do it. They have it in spades. And we need to get this out to the whole of Ireland. And we desperately need to do this, because it's life and death. When people don't have hope, they don't have faith. Faith transforms lives. And the encounter with Christ transforms lives. So this is what I'm pleading with Irish Catholics. Pleading to give them that we pass on the faith to the next generation, because the faith will transform a life forever. Will absolutely transform a life forever. I'm so thankful to the priest that helped me in my life, because I'm absolutely sure if I didn't have the help of those that had faith, I wouldn't be the man I am today. And that's saying a lot. So it was actually difficult today because, a priest that I knew had died today. He was born in 1957 and he was 69 years old. And we lived together in the same house. And he was the most eccentric priest. And he used to just take us out. I remember we lived in a community in Poland. And he'd just wake up and he says, "Do you know what, today we're going off. We're going off somewhere." And we just go off. And he would blow the community budget. He would blow the community budget. And then the superior come back and says, "What happened to all the money?" We went out to eat. And I'm just thinking about it today. He'd bring us out for a meal and he just didn't know how to manage the budget in the house. He was just such a character. And, these are the priests that you look back on in your life and you just think, you never forget it. And he was 69 or something like that, young enough priest. People will know, not a bad priest. No, not a bad priest in any way, but just very eccentric. He liked his food. He liked to travel, and he'd bring us off on adventure trips and let's go to Częstochowa. I remember once he put us in the car. We went off to Częstochowa. And we Scrooged off. Oh yeah, that's another thing. We'd go around and we'd Scrooge off other religious communities. We'd arrive up and we'd have dinner. We'd go to the fathers in Częstochowa and have dinner. And he was just an hilarious character. Just hilarious character. And I remember him now. And he died. I suppose if you had these stories of the faith, you can look back at them on the funny side of life. And that's what I'm encouraging people now to do. We have to give the joy and the hope and the beauty of our faith to the next generation, to open them up to something that they don't realize is out there, that exists. And that's my encouragement. Speaking into the Irish church, I think we do things differently in Ireland. The traditional on whatever side, we're just Irish, and we'll get through this. And we'll pass the faith on to the next generation. But it will require everything that we have to give the faith to the next generation. And will require personal authenticity and love for the faith and leadership. And I'm asking laity to step up. You need to step out of your comfort zones in Ireland. If we're not stepping out of our comfort zones, where are we going? Anyway, I mean, the apostles had to do that. They had to leave their boats. They had to leave their life and step out of their comfort zone and preach this gospel, and to give the joy, the beautiful joy of knowing Christ to this world, which is so badly needs it. God bless you. Pray for the Holy Father. Pray for the Holy Father. Our Lady has said this time and again, every single time. Pray for the Holy Father. Pray for our priests and bishops. This is what Our Lady has said. And she wants us now to bring people to her Son. If I could send a message to Bishop Strickland. What you need to do now, Bishop Strickland, is to book a plane ticket and go to Medjugorje, take out a chair and put up a sign saying English and Spanish, and confess people in the confessional of the world when the pilgrim season opens, and just encounter people and bring souls to God. That's what we need to do. That's what we need to do. What's the good in losing your ministry if you can't bring souls? Bring souls to God. That's what we need to do. Pray for the church. God bless you. Take care. Bye-bye.